Welcome to Nugget 358 with Steve and Dana Groman. This year's wrapping up
rather quickly.
I think everyone's saying that has gone by so fast. We are visiting the Hall of Geology at the Pennsylvania State Museum, and they said, Pennsylvania before man. What do you think about that statement?
They were only 5 days before man.
Good point. It's your worldview, isn't it?
It certainly is.
That's the point of all our nuggets. It's your worldview. Put on your critical thinking caps and do not let the evolutionists influence you and your family. As a reminder, we do have 12 video lessons that will build your faith, and 2 specifically that deal with things that we are talking about today is Lesson 4, After the Flood, and Lesson 9, Rock Solid Proof. What do all these geologic features say? What do they tell us? What do these features really declare?
They declare that there was a whole lot of moving water real fast.
And that's what the Bible says.
That is what the Bible says.
Geomorphology is the study of the surface features of the earth, how they have been produced, and changes they are undergoing. 2 worldviews. An evolutionary long-term worldview, or that this is a recent creation. There was the original creation. There was Noah's flood, and everything that we see on earth today is a result of the flood and the result of having seasons.
Yes, and there can be changes ongoing, basically, like it says, but we have to remember, just because there's a little bit of something that takes place today does not mean that rate is what the whole thing was cut by.
Well, yeah, you can have one flood and tear a lot of things up.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean that the whole earth in that region was all affected by the very same slow rate that one disaster would do.
Yeah, we're going to talk about a few of the places that they have pictured. The video that was playing in the center of this set of pictures was talking about Half Dome. We have been to Half Dome in Yosemite National Park in California. This place is splendid. It's massive.
It's so massive.
That thing's like a half a geo, like a big bookend. It's so sheer, and you can walk over there, and one of these days we need to take that hike. It takes the whole day.
It is a half dome, isn't it?
All of this is just
massive.
It's massive. Pictures just can't
do it justice.
No. They mention about different types of erosion, wave erosion, rock erosion, stream erosion, and we're going to show you some pictures of a few of these places that we have been to that they point out specifically in their display. And one is Point Loma, California, and it says rock destruction due to long-term exposure to moving water is wave erosion. And those waves crashing into that shoreline is really something to hear, smell,
they're really loud sometimes, aren't they?
Yes. That is a beautiful place near San Diego. And then they talk about Gooseneck State Park near Bluff, Utah. And this is one of our favorite places, and you can't see it, but in this picture, if you know what a geocache is, you can see where our geocache is in this picture. And we love to have it
on the edge, isn't it?
On the edge. And we have this geocache there to draw people to this specific part of Goosenecks. This isn't in the state park. It's outside of the park, but it's a great place to go. And you can see this meandering river. It's the San Juan River, and these silly people say that this stream made this.
If there's a bowl in the sink and there's a trickle of water from the faucet coming out, the bowl's about 1 inch from the top from being full. And we walk in and you look at that and say, what's going on here? I don't know. We don't know. Well, we could get the capacity of the bowl. We could get the measurement of how much is flowing in. We could get all kind of things. We could clock it. We could time it. We can scientifically show that that bowl has been filling for about 2 hours. The problem is somebody might have been in there and just turned the water on really, really hard and filled most of the bowl up and just didn't turn it off, and then they left. And we would have no way to know that. But if they would have left a note to tell us what they did, we could understand who did it, what happened, how it filled, everything about it. It's the same with everything. We have the note. The Bible describes, previous to all our finds, the Bible describes how all of these things would have happened. The river running through, the creek running through, just because there's a little bit of washout of dirt and debris and rocks and pebbles doesn't mean that's the way everything happened all the way down the whole thing and the land was all flush straight across at the top. It doesn't mean that at all.
And that is what they say, like in this sign. They talk about how this is one of the finest examples of of an entrenched meanders, and it is in many textbooks. It talks about how the San Juan became entrenched when the entire Colorado Plateau was slowly uplifted. Now that puppy went up fast. Cutting downward, the river followed its initial pattern and thus created the canyon you now view. No, it flows through the ground.
And they say millions of years it takes to do those things. And no, the water flows through the low spot that's now there.
Other examples that they do show are a normal fault or recumbent fault, the dike and volcanic neck, like at Shiprock, New Mexico, and the famous nonconformity of Grand Canyon National Park in Arizona. We want to flip through several of these pictures. This is Kings Canyon National Park in California. Massive, massive mountains. And this folding of rock?
Not rocks, but certainly soft mud, and then the water races off, and then it turns to rock.
And Shiprock is a beautiful formation on the Navajo Nation in northwest New Mexico.
We've been out there several times, huh?
Yes, during the heat and in the snow. We just recently went to Grand Canyon West and to the Skywalk. That was on my bucket list. It was worth it. At first you kind of wonder if it wasn't, but the full tour and what you can see.
All the stuff around it makes it worth it.
Right. Not particularly the Skywalk itself, but the whole part was just fabulous. We also were able to venture out to Death Valley National Park for our 20th visit.
Who would have thought?
That's not the 20th time that we've entered the park. It's just our 20th time there. It is my favorite place if you haven't noticed, and since I'm the navigator, the car trends that way when we're anywhere nearby, or not so nearby. There was a hurricane that hit the west coast in August and devastated much of the land in that region, and most of Death Valley is shut down, and the roads, the trails, it's really sad. But when you think about that all of this was at the flood and subsequent to the flood, it is all a result of wind and rain and rising water reshaping it. A lot of the roads and the trails were destroyed, but that's the man-made part. But this is a spectacular place. You've got to go there. They mentioned the Valle Caldera in northwest New Mexico and the Garden of the Gods in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and we've done some rock climbing there. One time we were rock climbing. Remember that crazy guy? He was playing bagpipes.
Yeah.
You go there for solitude and here's some cat playing a bagpipe. It's like, really, guy? That was crazy. But we've been there several times, and I know everyone that's gone.
The chains there, from the anchors from rock climbing.
Yeah, it's a top-down view. And we've been to Dinosaur National Monument, which is another place that they mention with regard to upturned strata. And you can see that in this photograph. They also mention folded strata at Calico, California. We have been to Calico, California. We went to the Early Man Archaeological Site. It's an interesting place for historical purposes. We didn't see those formations there. We weren't really paying attention for that. Our country has so much to offer to show off beautiful scenery, and as a result of the flood and the seasonal effects and weathering, it's still gorgeous.
It really is.
And if you're looking for a meaningful Christmas present, consider the Creation Seminar Series. We are offering 30% off and free shipping, which means you can get the entire 12-part series for $120. You can buy online from our website at creationseminar.net, or you can call or text 603-616-8907. Everybody's going to be rushing out for Black Friday or Cyber Monday. You might as well just give us a call. Make it all really easy. Thank you.